Lately, I've been telling people something I genuinely believe, that it is okay to say no. You don't have to say yes to everything. You don't have to explain yourself endlessly. You don't have to make yourself uncomfortable just to make somebody else comfortable. And sometimes saying no is actually the healthier thing to do. I've said this to people several times recently. I genuinely believe it until I had to practice it myself. And suddenly it wasn't so easy anymore. You see, so just yesterday when I was at the hospital, um, I saw a friend's WhatsApp status, okay, someone I know's WhatsApp status, and he posted his wedding invitation. He saved the date. The wedding is supposed to be Saturday, this coming Saturday. And then I just texted him, congratulations. So a few minutes later, when I had finished with my session at the hospital and was coming back home, I received a call from him and he was asking me to be his best man. Now, he first asked whether I'll be at his event this Saturday. And I'm like, no, I'm not so sure because of other commitments. And it's like, oh, please, he really, really needs me to be there for him because his original best man had cancelled and he would like me to do that for him. Now, honestly, I was honored. I mean, somebody asking you to be their best man is not a small thing or something you should take lightly. Why? It's basically someone saying to you that I trust you so much enough. I trust you enough to stand beside me on one of the biggest days of my life. So, my first reaction to this request wasn't outrightly a no. My first reaction was, wow, he really wants me to do this for him. But then reality kicked in. The wedding is Saturday. This Saturday. Yesterday was what? Wednesday. So this Saturday. And I already have plans for this weekend. I have an all night tomorrow, Friday. And on Saturday, I have another event in the morning, which would be followed by rehearsal. In fact, I'm not even feeling completely well at the moment. Like I told you early on that I was at the hospital, I'm having some sciatica issues, right? So, although I was honored financially as well, I'm not exactly in the position where suddenly taking on the responsibilities of being a best man is convenient. And I knew all that. So, logically, the answer seemed pretty obvious, right? That I couldn't do it. But emotionally, that was a completely different story. I was having a conflict within because I kept thinking about him. His original best man had cancelled on him. He wasn't asking me because he had 10 other people waiting in line. He genuinely needed somebody. And that made me feel terrible. I started thinking, am I disappointing him? Am I being a bad friend? Maybe I should just make it work. Maybe I should cancel my plans. Maybe I should just push through. And that's when I caught myself. Because what happened to everything I've been telling other people? I was in the room with my wife today when I was still contemplating on it, and she was telling me, am I not the one who kept telling her to say it's okay, that it's okay to say no when genuinely something is unfavorable? So why am I struggling with making this decision? She was like, look, and I didn't want to cancel my plans. I was feeling really bad. Like, I don't know how to explain that feeling. As in, if I agree to go, it will be at my inconvenience. And from the way the conversation was going, he really wanted me to come. He wanted me to get a suit he is going to pay for if if need be for me to come, you know. And I told him to give me a few minutes to get back to him. And really, if I say yes, it will really inconvenience me and I'll be going and maybe I will not be happy about it, right? So when my wife said that, I was really thinking I had to call another person close to me to talk about it. And they all said that the answer is easy. It was a no. So I'm here thinking, what happened to it's okay to say no? What happened to you don't have to abandon yourself to be there for everyone else? What happened? What happened to someone being disappointed by your boundary doesn't automatically mean your boundary is wrong? And I realized something that it's incredibly easy, very easy to tell someone else that it's okay to say no. Very easy. It's like a blanket statement to make. But it is much harder when you are the one who has to say no to somebody, especially in this case where the person really needed you, right? And I think that's the part we don't talk about enough. Sometimes saying no doesn't feel empowering. Sometimes it feels horrible, like I'm feeling. Sometimes you say no and immediately start questioning yourself. Did I make the right decision? Could I have sacrificed a little more for this person? Maybe I should have just done it. But feeling guilty doesn't necessarily mean you've made the wrong decision. Sometimes guilt is just the emotional cost of having a boundary, just the emotional cost of having a boundary. And that really hits me because I wasn't saying no because I didn't care about this person. Like it took me so long to say no. Look, after my wife had said it, after speaking to someone else about it, I really even had to go to Chat GPT to tell Chat that this is what is happening, for Chat to reassure me that I'm not a bad person before I sent the message declining. And this was the message I sent to him. Told him that, bro, honestly, I really appreciate you thinking of me and trusting me enough to ask me to be your best man. It would genuinely be an honor. And I don't take it lightly. I don't take the request lightly at all. But considering how short the notice is and the commitments I already have for this weekend, I don't think I'll be able to take on the responsibility and give it the attention it deserves. I'm also not feeling too well at the moment. So trying to rearrange everything at the last minute would put me in a difficult position. I'm really sorry. I know this isn't an easy situation for you, especially with your original best man canceling. And I genuinely wish I could make it work. Please don't take me saying no as me not wanting to support you. I absolutely do. And I'll be rooting for you and praying that everything goes beautifully on Saturday. Congratulations again, my brother. That was the message I sent him. So I wasn't saying no because I didn't want to support him, like I was saying. I was saying no because I knew I wasn't in a good position to take on what he was asking me to take on. And those are two different, very different things. What is the lesson here? I think that sometimes we confuse being a good person with always being available. We think that if I really care about this person, I'll find a way. If I'm a good friend, I'll sacrifice. If they really need me, I shouldn't say no. And yes, there are moments in life when we absolutely should sacrifice for people we love. There will be times when somebody needs you and you have to inconvenience yourself. That's part of being a human being. But there's a difference between sacrificing occasionally for someone you love and constantly abandoning your needs because you feel guilty saying no. And I think I've had to remind myself of that because someone else's emergency doesn't automatically become my responsibility. Someone else's disappointment doesn't automatically mean that I've done something wrong. And someone's genuine need doesn't automatically mean I'm the person who has to meet it. And the funny thing is, I still felt bad after I said no. Like, I still feel bad sitting here right now recording this video. I sent him the message and immediately put off my data so that I don't see his response soon enough. It took a while, some few minutes before I put my data back on, and I saw that it had ticked blue, but he hasn't said anything, so it means he had seen it. Obviously, I know he'd be disappointed, and like I said, I still feel bad that I had to say no, but I think that's okay too. Okay, that's okay. Maybe that's another thing I needed to learn. We sometimes think that once we've made the right decision, we are supposed to feel immediately at peace. In between, I felt better sending that message than when I was on the fence about it. Okay, I was at peace. However, it's we don't always immediately feel peace when we make the right decision. That's not how it always works. You can make the right decision and still feel guilty. You can set a healthy boundary and still feel like you've disappointed someone. You can love someone and still have to say no to them. Those things can exist at the same time. And maybe maturity is learning to sit with the discomfort without immediately running back and saying yes. So, if you're somebody who has been struggling to say no, I want you to hear this from someone who literally had to learn that lesson a few hours ago. It's okay to say no, but don't expect it to always feel good when you say it. Sometimes you'll feel guilty. Sometimes people will be disappointed. Sometimes you wonder if you made the wrong choice. But before you say yes, simply because you feel bad saying no, ask yourself, if I remove the guilt, if I remove the guilt, do I actually want to do this? And more importantly, am I saying yes because I genuinely want to help or because I'm afraid of disappointing them? Because those are two completely different reasons. And maybe that's the real lesson I'm taking from this. I'm still learning that being a good person doesn't mean being available to everyone all the time. Sometimes being honest about what you can and cannot do is actually the kinder thing. Even when it hurts, even when they need you, even when you feel guilty, it's okay to say no. I'm learning that I have to believe that even if I am the one saying it. Have you been in a similar situation? And what did you do? And how did you feel about it afterwards? Now, let me know in the comments. Subscribe to the channel as we build a community of builders and action takers. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.